Well, members of the Mammoth Lakes Police Department arrested a robbery suspect over the weekend. Now, according to a press release from the Mammoth Lakes Police Department, at approximately 1 o'clock on Saturday morning, Mammoth Lakes Police Sergeants Eric Hugelman and Rick Mobley were meeting with village security personnel. This was regarding a disturbance on Minaret when they observed another disturbance about 50 yards away, and that was next to a trolley bus. Now, the sergeants and security officers ran to the trolley and attempted to detain a suspect who was hitting the trolley, according to the press release. That suspect resisted, and pepper spray was deployed to control the combative individual, according to that press release. Now, after controlling the suspect, identified as Stephen Brisby Andrews Jr., age 34, of Sherman Oaks, the investigation determined that he had committed a strong arm robbery while on the bus. Now, the victim, a 20-year-old female resident of Mammoth Lakes, was sitting on the bus when the suspect entered and immediately grabbed a cloth bag she was holding and took it from her. The press release states that the suspect then grabbed a purse that was strapped around her neck and dragged her off the bus. It was at this point that the Mammoth Lakes police sergeants and security officers observed the disturbance and responded. Now, according to the press release, the victim was shaken but not injured. Andrews was booked for robbery and resisting arrest at the Mono County Jail in Bridgeport. Now, just prior to this incident, Mono County Dispatch received a call of a suspect fitting the description of Andrews, who was assaulting people in the parking lot of Whiskey Creek. He was last seen running toward the North Village, and it is believed that Andrews was the suspect who assaulted patrons of Whiskey Creek in the parking lot. Well, Bennett Kessler filed this report when Verizon was caught overheading fiber optic lines without permission in the Highway 395 scenic corridor. The Public Utilities Commission punished them by requiring that Verizon install high-speed internet service in Crowley Lake and Swall Meadows. Then Verizon failed to meet the deadline. Now the PUC says they do not accept Verizon's request for more time, and they may be subject to penalties. Now, in a letter to Verizon, Public Utilities Commission Executive Director Paul Clannon wrote that he denies Verizon's request for more time to finish the Crowley Swall project, which was due by January 28th. Now, Mr. Clannon said that 3 things influenced his decision: Verizon's failure to provide more information on why they wanted more time was one factor, and secondly, Clannon said in a December 10th report, Verizon failed to mention that they wanted more time beyond the January 28th deadline. And finally, Clannon wrote the Mono supervisors and local residents sent letters opposing the extension. Now, wrote Clannon, quote, "Given the lack of information explaining the project delay coupled with local opposition to Verizon's extension request, I hereby deny the request," end quote. He said Verizon is in violation of 2 PUC resolutions and may be subject to penalties. Now, the PUC director also says that Verizon should push ahead to provide broadband service to Crowley and Swall. Now, the Mono supervisors had opposed Verizon's request for more time and had asked that the penalty for the communication company should be internet service for Paradise and expanded cell service for Mammoth Lakes. Well, Bennett Kessler also filed this story. Some citizens have pointed accusing fingers at the Mammoth Town Council for failure to disclose what's going on with town manager Dave Wilbrecht, who is on administrative leave and the subject of a series of closed sessions. Town attorney Andy Morris said that legally there is not much officials can say. Now, Sierra Wave Media asked Morris if he could comment on Wilbrecht's status right now. Morris said he could not. Sierra Wave Media asked Morris to comment on why town manager Wilbrecht was placed on administrative leave, and Morris's response: no comment. He had the same response when asked if there were anything else he could disclose. Morris explained that if issues are personnel matters, he cannot comment, and if something unfolds in a closed session, he cannot comment. Now, this matter of intense interest by the public is legally confidential. Morris did say that if action is taken in closed session, it must be reported. The town attorney said, quote, "Until then, There's not much more I can say, end quote. The same legal rule applies to members of the Mammoth Town Council. Now, Mammoth Town government continues to shudder with the waves of repercussions from the Hot Creek lawsuit, the judgment of $30 million against the town, and complex and costly negotiations that led to a settlement, $2 million per year, to Mammoth Lake's land acquisition for the next 23 years. Other budget problems added to that huge expense, and that led to personnel cuts that left many departments cut in half or nearly so. Well, we're getting information that current district engineer at Mammoth Community Water District, John Peterson, he was appointed interim general manager of the district by the board of directors, and that was at a special meeting held on January 31st. Now, Greg Norby, the general manager since November 2008, resigned recently to reside closer to family and friends. Peterson's interim general manager appointment started February 1st and continues until a new general manager is appointed. The board said that Peterson's interim role is greatly enhanced by his 25 years of engineering experience at the district. Now, Peterson's recent contributions to the district include developing the financial forecast and implementing construction of the solar array project, upgrading the water treatment plants to improve water quality, and completing a multi-year project to replace aging pipelines that were leaking. Well, Bennett Kessler filed this story. The cause remains under investigation, but what the Los Angeles Department of Water and Power does know is that a relay in the electrical transmission line between Southern California and the Eastern Sierra tripped and took power down in the Owens Valley. It's all back up now. Now, Chris Plakas, DWP Public Information spokesman, said that Bishop, Laws, and Big Pine DWP customers were out only momentarily. Power to the south, however, in Independence and Lone Pine was off for about an hour this morning. Now, the power outage happened around 6:45. Crews at the Gorge went to work immediately to restore electricity after the relay failed. They are still investigating the cause of that. We'll be back with more news.